Alright, so today I'm going to be building a deck that I'm not really sure anyone else has ever tried before. It's based around an old card from Invasion of Chaos called DD Borderline. It's a continuous spell that prevents either player from conducting their battle phase while there are no spell cards in your graveyard. So the deck starts out with 3 of that. Next, we need some way to get cards from our deck to our hand. And since Pot of Duality really won't work since it's a spell card and you don't want any spell cards in your graveyard, we went with Reckless Greed, a trap card that lets you draw 2, but then you have to skip your next 2 draw phases. Next we have Stealth Bird. I decided to go the Pac-Man route with this since they benefit from not being able to attack and they just generate an insane amount of advantage every turn. So 3 Stealth Bird to start off our burn engine. Let's see, 2 of each, Swarm of Scarabs and Swarm of Locusts. Swarm of Locusts destroys a spell or trap card your opponent controls when it's flip summoned, and Swarm of Scarabs does the same thing for monsters, pretty standard in Pac-Man. Next, we have 2 Spirit Reapers and a Marshmallow for stall, and Spirit Reaper also has, the very nice discard effect. And Marshmallow also has the very nice burn effect. So they're 2 just really good cards in the deck. Next I have Wyrmlynx. I went with Wyrmlynx over Deslakuta, which would be a little more standard, because Wyrmlynx is just better than him. You only have to flip him once, and then you get to draw twice as much, and you only have to flip him once, so it's not vulnerable to Warning or Torrential every turn like Deslakuta would be. Chaos Rider Gustav is to keep our DD Borderline live. Same with Pot of Benevolence. Chaos Rider Gustav removes spell cards in your graveyard from play to power himself up, but that's really not important since he's not going to be able to attack anyway. Pot of Benevolence shuffles back cards from either player's graveyard into the deck, and then it removes itself from play, which keeps Borderline live as well. Next we just have some staples, Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, great cards. Mirror Force for when I don't have DD Borderline up and I need to get rid of my opponent's field and protect myself. Torrential Tribute just is mostly for emergencies only, because most of the time you will have more field presence than your opponent. Dust Tornadoes are very important to this deck, because your opponent can't keep all their resources in their hand since the hand has a limit of 6. So they're going to have to commit them to the field eventually, and that's where Dust Tornado comes in. Dark Bribe is just to protect my DD Borderlines, to protect my monsters from things like Dark Hole, Mystical Space Typhoon, Giant Trunade. Monster Reborn can be, devastating. Next we have Magic Cylinder, which is more burn stuff. And I couldn't remember what came next for some reason, although it should be really obvious. But next has Ceasefire. Ceasefire is a really good card in this deck because you will consistently have 5 monsters on the field, which is 2,500 damage, which is a lot, and it's going to be hard for them to come back from that, especially when it's game, and it's quite frequently game. So it's a good thing for your opponent that this is limited. Let's see, next we have, Bottomlesses. Once again, your opponent can't keep all their resources in their hand. They're going to have to put them on the field eventually, and Bottomless is to punish them for that. Let's see, what do we have next? We have Gravity Bind, I think. Yeah, Gravity Bind. Once again, just for more DD Borderline substitutes. Every once in a while you have a spell card in your graveyard. People will try very hard to destroy DD Borderline. And finally, we have Royal Oppression, which it's an anti-meta deck. It doesn't special summon. Makes sense. So now we're just going to go duel with the deck. You notice I didn't put it in an extra deck, but I have one in the duel. I just put the 13 Neos Fusions plus 2 Turbo Cannon because he's awesome, just to throw my opponent off, so it's really no big deal.